Thomas Vermaelen could be on his way to Barca, could be on his way to Manchester United. That's if Arsenal let him go, of course. So what's the latest on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there has been a bid from Barcelona for him. I think they're looking at a number of options. I think they finally realised that they can't keep pushing ahead with Mascherano at centre-back, well as he has played and won silverware for them. They need to get an orthodox centre-half in there and get Mascherano playing in his preferred position, which is just be in front of the back four, I should say. But yeah, there has been interest from Barcelona, but I understand that he preferred to go to Man United, and Arsenal obviously don't want that. And I think, obviously, because they would prefer for him not to go to Man United, they're trying to get as much as they can out of him, trying to scare him off. But Man United, not deterred, Van Gaal thinks that he'd be able to benefit from a change of scenery and a fresh voice.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens there, because, Arsenal aren't playing him for a reason. Maybe a change of scenery will help, maybe it won't. But, I mean, there's two pretty big clubs after him, so two top coaches obviously feel that he's got something left to offer.
Yeah, I mean, you think the same as I do, Brad, that there clearly is an issue. We don't know what it is, but at some level, Arsene Wenger believes that Thomas Vermaelen has, gone off the boil. The two players playing ahead of him, Per Mertesacker and Laurent Koscielny, are doing very well for Arsenal. But I think at some level, Arsene Wenger basically feels that Vermaelen is lacking something or not good enough to break in ahead of the other two. And, Vermaelen's of the opinion that he needs to play regular first-team football. And I think he's definitely going to move on this summer.
Now, Celtic got a massive game tonight. There's a lot of talk about players that could go if they're out the Champions League, because that's effectively the season over. Mm-hmm. Everything else domestically is in the bag from their point of view. But Fraser Forster is the one that everybody's talking about, and he could be heading for the Premier League.
And he's another one, guys, who I'm fascinated by, because why would Southampton, who have been linked very, very heavily with him and informed the guys down there, as well as us on the national beat, hearing that Ronald Koeman wants Fraser Forster, but I don't understand why. Artur Boruc was very, very impressive under Mauricio Pochettino last season. And if Fraser Forster goes there, he's either going to be number two or Artur Boruc is going to leave. I cannot imagine, particularly given the money that they're talking about, around about £8-9 million for Fraser Forster, that he's going to go there to be a number two. So I'm trying to work out the logic of that one. But certainly there is very, very strong interest in him from Koeman, along with Virgil van Dijk, another Celtic player, centre-half. He's coveted by a string of clubs, early 20s, very capable young ball-playing centre-half, and he too is wanted by Koeman.
There's a story about Wilfried Bony that he was linked to Spurs at one point, and then it's gone a bit quiet. I'm sure they're desperate to hold on to him, so what's the latest there?
Well, I did a story about him earlier this week, and I was quite keen to do this one because the Swansea fans are giving me a bit of stick, which, us national reporters, we get it when we write stuff that the fans don't like. But the situation is, Bony wants to go. The club don't want to sell him. Gary Monk wants to keep him. Hugh Jenkins on your station last week said if a Champions League club comes in for him, we can maybe talk about it. So there's difference of opinion within the club. Now, the facts are, even those Swansea fans don't like me for saying it, and they think it's a bit illogical, they will take less than the £19 million release clause that they've been so aggressive about so far this summer. They will take less. If a club bids, maybe slightly under that mark, they'll take it, because they know that fighting a losing battle to keep a player who simply doesn't want to play for them anymore. He wants to go to a bigger club. And as we all know, when players are that determined to move on, you have to basically let them go and get players who are committed to what you want to do. So they've got a really difficult situation with Bony, and I'm bracing myself for more Swansea fans getting ready to reload, but that's fine. It's the truth. And I can also tell you, that all the talk about he may go to Liverpool, as things stand, aren't in for him.
Now, finally, this story sort of broke a little bit on some of the Chelsea forums last week, and Andy and I were talking about it, and we said this is the deal of the summer that would never, ever make sense where it happened. Andre Schurrle, just back from a World Cup, won a World Cup, been absolutely fantastic in the tournament, only just really starting to establish himself properly as a Chelsea player. And then suddenly there's all these Atletico Madrid stories saying he could be going there. It wouldn't and doesn't make sense. But what's the strength of it?
Well, it is relatively strong, I think, as far as Atletico Madrid are concerned. They like his versatility, the fact that he scores goals, the fact that he's got the right attitude. He didn't play that often, but when he did, I say he didn't play that often, he wasn't a first-team regular. But, he never complained, always did his best when he came on the field, provided lots of cutting edge, and of course, they've lost Diego Costa. They need to try and replace him. And they believe that because there are so many players in front of Andre Schurrle at Chelsea, they may well have a chance of pinching it. Remember, Eden Hazard's going to stay. Chelsea managed to rebuff some pretty big interest from PSG during this summer, in the early part of the summer. So it's a fair bet that Eden Hazard's going to be playing regular first-team football next season. Oscar as well. William's going to be in his second season at the club. All of these guys are going to be supplying the bullets for Diego Costa. So where does Andre Schurrle fit in? Does he want to be a kind of maybe understudy at Chelsea, or does he want to go to Atletico Madrid, play regular first-team football there? I think they'll make an offer. Personally, I think Chelsea will want to keep him, but obviously, in the transfer window, you never can tell, so I wouldn't want to nail any colours to any particular mast.
Cheers, Darren. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.
Did you want a good value loan deal but end up having to pay out for a missold PPI? Perhaps you've paid for an overpriced megastar in the last 5 years and don't remember the last time he scored for your club. PPIs